got a quick break, got a little snack. All right, so first of all, Fit, hello. How are you doing today? Let's see. Okay, so do I recommend diesel ORM for production level applications? If I remember correctly, diesel's the most popular of the ORMs, right? Oh yeah, not only is it the most popular, it is version 2. It is released. So my general rule of thumb is that any crate that has been willing to put a 1.0 or higher is definitely ready for production. C or M is pretty much like ready there too, but I don't think that they're 1.0. Is it C-ORM? Yeah, they're 0.12.12. CORM, it feels pretty good too. That being said, the problem with anything that's a 1.0 or less, which we found with Axum, is that even though they might say on their forums, oh yeah, things are pretty much set, we don't expect very much trouble, so you can definitely use this in production, and then they're like, oh yeah, actually something big's changed, we have to now make a big change to how everything works, and it's breaking changes. If you're in something that's 1.0 or better, generally speaking, you don't see that except with the major updates, which oftentimes you don't really need to do that much unless it's a security update, which doesn't happen that much usually. So I would say, yes, it should be ready for production. I mean, it's probably like one of the few ones that are ready for production. We need to see more 1.0 or more crates. Like we need to see the library maintainers, creators, to sort of like get over that fear of going 1.0. Does that answer your question, Fit? Okay, so we have all of these things. We get the names. We get our, okay, so we have our branch refs. I need to now push you in there. So we're gonna do our branch refs, our branch ref. And then we're going to name those out. Okay, and so that's great. The problem is that the last one is 000. So, okay. This is going to be great up until we have, okay, so if the line is equal to B 000, like that, then we're done and we can now break out of here. So we're gonna break. Otherwise we continue on. And it is 000, 4 of them. Oh. Okay, that's good. All right, so then I need to update my tests because we didn't do this right. We wanted it from this one here. So this is going to be for view. Okay, so that's what I want there. Okay, so now the test is passing. So we're grabbing all of these out, which is great. Now, if we want to test that we can get more than one of these, then we could do that with another test, because we have a pretty serious other repo with a bunch of commits in it, which we can test as well. So should extract multiple refs. Our response is going to be this. Yes, no, you're going to be very unhappy for a second. Okay. Actually, you're not unhappy at all because you're testing the other thing. All right, let's find... There's no history, is there? Okay, this. So if I grab all of you, throw you in here. This is gonna be a lot. I wonder if I could do this with, no, this is probably not gonna be. All right, let's do it with 3 then. So oh, interesting. So these are the different branches, and then we have the different commits, and that's what I care about is the commits. I think. So skipping 1 isn't going to work. I need to skip. Now, this doesn't tell me how many branches there are in here, does it? It does not. Unfortunately. I need... Ooh, okay. That's too bad. So this is definitely not going to work. So these are all for ref heads. Oh, but then there's the ref heads master. Albert, you'll soon have 6 whole packages in the official Fedora repos. Nice, congratulations. That sounds like a good thing to have on your resume. Actually, wait, is that true? No, this is still the first. So this is still going to work. This is still going to work. So these are modes. And then these are our, okay. Then our branch is attempting to make an edit. Attempting to make an editor. Chapter 2 command. Checking something out. Generic array. Okay. And then, oh, because like these aren't all branch names. Because then it's going, these are going to like head. And so I don't, if this, I don't care about the pull requests. I only care about ref heads. So I want to, okay, so the test that we can do is starting from here, and I want to pull in essentially a bunch of these. You're not really sure where to put it in LinkedIn. If I remember correctly, LinkedIn has a section for like just miscellaneous things that you just throw in there. That might be a place to put it, but I don't remember exactly where that is. But I do remember like that's where you could put in just like other things. Like if you're, you know, if you're a like the head of a guild in like World of Warcraft and you want to show off like your leadership skills and like what you're able to do with that. That's essentially where you put that. Or if you've done a meetup talk, like things like that. There's something to do, and I forget exactly where those sections are. Okay, so we have you, we need you. Okay, so we're gonna have heads. Let's keep 2 of each, right? So we have 2 non-masters, and then we have master, and then we'll have 2 of these just pull requests. Oh, and I just don't care to have any of the pull requests, regardless if it's like head, merge, whatever. So if I do that, all I want to see out is a length of, okay, so we're going to get expected. This is me. Let's do this as expected refs. This is a get ref. We are going to have 1, 2. So 1, 2, 3 of them. And then that's it. That's all we can expect. So then now, can I do this? I want just these 3. Either we're skipping the other ones, right? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh, it's off by 1 line each. Oh. Oh. There's a wait. There's a way for me to like go down by 1. That's not it. Nope, that's not it. I forgot the command to whatever that is. That's not what I want to do. Oh, so this is not good for me. Like getting this. Okay, kind of works. Not necessarily a good idea, but okay, there we go. So we have those 3. You put your Rust team membership as a professional experience? Yeah, exactly. So you could probably put it under professional experience then. I think that would work. So let's do these 3 again, and now we're going to the hash. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so it starts here. So then you go off to the side, we go to the beginning, and now we're good to go. So put you in there. Okay, great. Nope. How do I make it go back to 1? I thought it was. What did I do? Am I in the wrong keyboard? No. I'm still going up and down. Oh, there it is. There's one. Was I really a NASA employee? So I was a contractor who is embedded and working at NASA. So I worked for a company called AdNet Systems, which did not do advertisements. They did government contracts a lot with NASA, and then I was a systems administrator. Was what that was. So, but I was on site. Like I had a badge, I had everything. I had to go onto NASA's site, and I worked there for 8 years. So I guess like the technical way to put it would be I worked at NASA instead of for NASA. Okay, so then we have you. Oh wait, this is wrong. Oh, okay, now we're fine. Then put you in there. Okay, so that gives us you. So that's our expected refs. Okay, so our expected result is we no longer have a vector here because we already have a vector. Just our expected refs. Okay, so then a result, we get you. And assert equal. Okay, so then I'm gonna come back over here. I'm gonna update our watch to, instead of should extract 1 ref, it's now going to be should extract multiple refs. Multiple refs. And I would expect this is going to fail. Yeah, okay, so this failed because we got on the left, which is the result we actually got out of this. We had, yeah, branch name head. So we got too many things out, and we need to grab that out. Oh, just want to make sure you found the right person. Nice, yeah. The image should also work for that too. And also I think I put in my profile that I'm Twitch streaming and like where the stream is. So multiple ways to sort of verify it is me. Okay, so to make this work now, I want to, at the beginning of our line here, we want to search and find to see if there is a the equivalent of refs pull. Yeah, just refs pull. That's all I care about. If as long as it's refs heads. I probably would rather do that. Like look to make sure, okay, so if your ref heads we want to continue, and then we'll go from there. I may now have your real name. Albert, you got one of the courses, right? Yeah, I gave you one of the courses. I think I also got your name that way. But names don't matter to me. I gave you a name. Oh, that would be a fun one. It's like, okay, well, now that you're learning with me, you get a new name. That's the first thing that happens. Okay, so if in here I want to search for okay, so now I'm splitting from here, and then how do I want to do this? I'm splitting, I'm getting the last. We could do something with branches like this, or we can just maybe find a way to search for this entire thing to see if it contains the bytes. Can I do that something? So if line equals that, or line contains, that's not going to work. Because contains is going to be one of the things, and that's not what I want. I want like has a total. That's so maybe, okay, so we have a branch like this, and it gives us it's almost like I want to do a path. So if I get a string new from this, yeah, the SQLX is the only purchasable course I have on the LMS right now. Okay, so this gives me the last one. And so I want the first two, right? I want to throw in the first two in here. So let's just do path that. Now, oh, push stir. And let's do, I want. This is such a weird way to do it. What if instead of that, we just do if branches, whoa. Okay, so if branches, can I get the iterator number? So not the second one. So if the second one is equal to head, we continue, right? So that would be binary head. So if you're not equal to that, then we want to immediately break out. And we're done. Oh, cannot index into slice. Okay. So what can I do to get inside of you? I could, okay, so I could do another skip where I skip one. I could, oh, that yields the first n elements. The first, okay, first n elements might not be too bad, right? Okay, so what if I skip, okay, so let's do skip one, and then take one. So I think I have to do this. Let branch branch ref don't know what that thing is called in the middle. Like the branch title, the branch something. Equals, we're gonna do branches. I think we're gonna have to clone this too. Okay, so we're gonna clone, we're gonna skip 1, and then we're gonna take 1. Can I turn this in? No. Take. Okay, so that gives me an I. Oh, do I just want next? Oh, I might just want next. Expect. Doesn't have title. Expected arguments. Oh, next doesn't need anything. Okay, so that gives me the middle thing that we have, and I want to check to see, okay, so if the branch title is not equal to head, then we're going to break. Okay. Ooh, left is, okay, so, oh, because it's heads. Okay, now it's passing. Let's see. Use it when you're creating the server for your remote control service to save the needed data. Nice. Let's see. Tommy, hello. How are you doing today? Do I have a link to my Zellage font? I don't. Let's see. I think that's the font I'm using in Alacrity. Which I want to say is the nerd fonts. But let's go find out. So we want font. Yeah, so it's Fair Code Nerd Font Mono. So that is what I'm using. Because I don't think that I can set Zellage to have a different font. I don't think I've set that. We can. Yeah, I don't have any font stuff set up in here. The theme apparently I'm using is Dracula, which I think is the default theme. I just sort of copied the entire config that they have and threw it in here. Yeah, theme is only colors. That makes a lot of sense. That's gonna be true of everything, right? Like even like NeoVim and what is it? Yeah, NeoVim. Oh, now I'm forgetting the name of the window manager that everybody else uses. Tmux, NeoVim, Vim. They're all going to be based upon the terminal font. You're using the JetBrains Nerd Font one? I tried that for a while. For some reason, I didn't like it. They can't control font. It'll be really interesting if that changes sometime. Although, you know, like WesTerm and some of the other terminals are not really terminal emulators. Well, they're emulators, but they're not really like, they're not emulators in the sort of like the normal way. Here, they're like web applications essentially that are essentially terminals. Those could definitely do different fonts. Isn't that a red flag for terminal text editors? Maybe. I think that one of the reasons why people use like a lot of the nerd fonts is because they have a lot of stuff in them. So things can then end up looking like they're different fonts, but they're not. They're really the same font. But I don't necessarily think that it's a big problem for like terminal emulators. I generally don't like. I generally would set like VS Code to be the same font as my terminal, anyways. Mostly because I find it's easier to sort of like have the same font. That's a very what words do I want to use when I'm having trouble coming up with words? I know that my brain's getting tired. The terminal editor can implement a private escape code to set the font, but you don't know what of when it does. I'm wondering if like WesTerm does, because like that's a web based, right? Is this it? Yeah, this is it, because you could do all sorts of fun stuff with it. And can you set font? Oh, but like, yeah, because the problem is WesTerm is just like Alacrity, so you set the font there. So yeah, I don't know how to do. I wouldn't know. Like, I know that WesTerm would allow you to, but I don't know if like there's any APIs that it would be able to use that like an editor would be able to, because it doesn't. Most editors aren't going to try to do multiple fonts. That's interesting. It's taken years to have more than 16 colors. I know we have 256. I mean, that's one of the reasons why there's some terminals out there that are just web-based now, because they get around a lot of the standardizations with terminals. I'd really like to see conditional fonts based on a file ending you got. Nobody does this. So yeah, the reason why nobody does that is because let's think of NeoVim, right? In NeoVim, you want to support all of the terminals, right? And if only one terminal supports multiple fonts, then why would you spend the time to write this big, huge feature that could potentially have lots of bugs in it just to support that one terminal that probably won't even get big, like take off? Maybe if it got like really, really, really big and you got all of the content creators to start using it and everybody starts switching over to it, then probably you have a chance. But for the most part, they're going to support just what everybody uses, which is not that. It would be nice, though. It would be interesting. Dota, hello. How are you doing today? Do I write web apps? Yeah, I do. Want to hear your proposal for getting rid of client-side developer-written JavaScript? Is it just WebAssembly with Rust? Or literally WebAssembly with anything else? Oh, Fit. Welcome back. Okay, so you lost your internet. You haven't heard the answer. Okay. Yeah, I can definitely re-answer that. So my answer that I had before is yes. I would argue that Diesel is production ready because it is greater than 1.0. And that's like my super basic idea of like production ready is whether or not the crate has is confident enough in their systems to like mark themselves as that. So for example, one of the competitors of Diesel is CORM, and that's version 0.12.12. That's a communication to us as developers saying they do not believe that their API is stable, and therefore they think it's going to change potentially significantly, fairly like an unknown cadence. But if we go to Diesel, we'll see that they're version 2.1.4. So they've only had 2 major updates. So that to me is okay. They're pretty stable. You can go 2, and even if they add like 2.3, 2.4, it shouldn't have breaking changes for your stuff. That should just be additive changes because they're properly following Semver. Does that make sense? So I would argue that Diesel is one of the few production ready ORMs out there just because of that. No, Dota, the good word of Alpine JS. Rust is a pretty unique ecosystem to get rid of JavaScript. The problem is that we're not going to get rid of JavaScript. We're going to supplement JavaScript. Okay, Fit, and that answers your question. Excellent. That's good to hear. Excellent. I don't think that is going to get rid of JavaScript. I do think that Rust and other languages that compile to really fast, good WebAssembly that can run in the front end is going to supplement JavaScript. Now, that being said, all of that changes depending upon how WebAssembly updates, because WebAssembly itself is pretty alpha right now, right? Like there's a lot of features that are missing. But as soon as you can start doing DOM stuff directly inside of WebAssembly, let's have a conversation then, because at that point in time, my opinion might change to more of like, okay, yeah, we're ready. We're ready to go. Let's get rid of all JavaScript and just replace it. Let's see. What is this? Is it like is this a full blog? So I see JS. Like the thing though is like if you want to get rid of JavaScript, it can't have to pull in JavaScript from a CDN, because that's still JavaScript, right? Like if you want to kill the JavaScript, so I guess like I would argue that semantically speaking, that's not replacing JavaScript. We're just using JavaScript as sort of like a wrapper to do stuff with our WebAssembly. Now, we don't have to write the JavaScript ourselves, absolutely. So, but in that case, any of the front-end frameworks for Rust work decently well. Like Leptos and you generally don't need any JavaScript unless you really need a wrap around it. So yeah, I would argue we're there to the point where like you can get away with 99% no JavaScript on almost any app. Fit, you've been following the Twitter X Axum CRUD and applying to your project. Tutorial trying Diesel ORM again, but it was a long time ago. Yeah, you'll have to, if you go through that one, take a look at the version of Diesel, because I bet a lot of things have changed. So I was trying Diesel in preparation for the Axum course, and the original idea was that we were going to use Diesel for that. But in the hour and a half that I gave myself, I wasn't able to get Diesel installed and set up, and the entire idea of this course was super easy, like just able to get it going, no problem. And so therefore we're like, okay, there's too many steps involved. There's too many things going on. Let's step away from that and go find another tool. And everybody on Reddit was really big into CORM at the time. And so it's like, okay, let's try that. And then in like 5 minutes we were set up and going. So it's like, okay, CORM is where it's at. And now SQLX is where everybody wants to be, as long as you're not running an ORM these days. Does WebAssembly execute code on the client? Yes, it does. So like that, the entire idea is that you compile all of your code into WebAssembly. The WebAssembly, which is a compilation target, gets sent to your front end. So here we can go take a look at. Here's my LMS. This is all working in. This is all written in U code. So in a way, we can argue that this is production. I haven't really done anything to make things smaller. I just, besides compiling for production. And if we look at our network, we can see WebSockets, probably other. Okay, not other. XHR. Yeah, here we go. So in XHR, we can see my WebAssembly file here gets pulled in. And this is what the WebAssembly looks like. That's cool. But it is gzipped and cached and everything else. So it's basically as small as I can make it without going through the extra fun steps to make it even smaller. And then I just do all of my like running code and executing there at that point in time. So basically my WebAssembly executes on the front end, on my systems. That would be the client system. All right, good luck, Fit. The same purpose as Alpine.js. Is that what Alpine is doing? If you look at your stuff like class is executing on the client. They're showing code piped to the client. I guess like I don't necessarily understand the difference in here because it's a web application. Oh, like from the server. Oh, yeah. So basically the entire app gets loaded all in one go, and then it's running on the client. It's like all the code is running on the client. I don't have to go back to the server to get more code and then run it further. If you want to build a modal, you need JavaScript or something. I don't need JavaScript. Not at all. I don't need JavaScript. But U provides a little wrapper just like Alpine that then runs all the stuff that I want to run. But I don't have to write that JavaScript myself. And so if I want to build a modal, all that is some CSS that I embed inside of the WebAssembly. Let's see. I don't know how much time I can spend on it, but we can take a very brief quick look. Okay, so you're building an entire code base is a pretty huge ask. So is there like one tiny piece of it that we can look at? Like what's one thing you want to look at it? You have too many hashes in your header for development. Okay, I mean, I generally like the README. That's nice to have like, okay, how to go, how to do it. I know. It's tough for me to go through and like actually read through a lot of it. So it's like, okay, let's look at one thing. Alpine.js does sound pretty interesting though. I'll add it to my list of things to take a look into. Investigate Alpine.js. I guess like for WebAssembly, right? For WebAssembly stuff with Rust. And I'll be interested to see like how different it is from something like Leptos or U. An overall structure. So like, okay, so you have your I mean, so you have your cargo to TOML. I don't see like a source in here. Is this a workspace where you have a bunch of things? Okay, yeah. So you have a bunch of different applications in here. So like wisdoms, notifications, users. I mean, I'm generally pretty fine with using workspaces like this. This is like it's fine. Now for users, that's like authentication, right? For like figuring out how authentication works. Where you're then trying to like get routes. Okay, so like create a user and do that. Okay. I mean, I think it's fine. The big thing about any kind of web app is the ability to change things when new requirements come in. So by doing something in multiple, like breaking them out into different workspaces, is perfectly fine as long as you don't find yourself needing to make a change across them all. So now I do see that you have like a libraries in here, so you probably have something that you're sharing across everything else, which is probably fine. And if this is now, when you said production, is this going to be building your like for people that are paying you money for it? Or is it just like a learning project? If it's a learning project, then it doesn't really matter. I mean, something like this should be so like simple enough for you to work on that it doesn't matter how you break it out. I would worry about breaking this out a little bit too much. That being said, I wouldn't worry too much about it because as long as there's this idea called supple development, which is as you're building it and as you're creating stuff, as soon as you hit like a pain point, then it's time to refactor and rewrite a little bit of things. That's sort of like the mindset we want to have here, is that it's really, really good for that. Okay, this is for resume and learning purposes. In that case, don't worry about like, just do it, right? Like you're the only way for you to know and be able to speak intelligently about whether or not these broken out folders and everything else works, regardless if you ask me or anybody else, is by doing this and then saying like, ooh, yeah, I ran into this problem. This is why I don't want to do this. Oh, this type of app, maybe I do want to do that on. Basically, just stick with it. If there's pain points, then go into rewriting it and figure out a way how to make it that when you do rewrite it, it's not that bad. You can fix things and sort of like work with them and, update and all the nice stuff that we need in programming. So yeah, that's what I would recommend. All right, and because I didn't give you the proper look through, Doda, let's take a look through yours again. So your big thing is that this is how you can run. Basically, you have Rust code that you're then writing HTML in the Rust code, and then you have logic in here too. And let me snooze the ads. They don't start right away while I'm doing this. Yeah, then you have handlebar type stuff. So like normal HTML injection and templating and all that fun stuff. You have some SVGs you're throwing in here. Is this a bunch Okay, so I saw like multiple templates in here. I go back and forth. Oh no, there's only one template. Okay. Where's your logic for it? I see the HTML. Oh, because it's just HTML. Haha, that's it. These are just layouts for it. Okay, got it. Yeah, so the way to do, I don't do much with, I don't do modals because I'm not a huge fan of them. I bet they're in something like here, right? No, these are actually your posts here. Project assets? No, those are assets. Your includes? Nope. Oh, is it a completely different application? Check the languages. Oh, yeah, you only have HTML and CSS and Sass. Oh, okay. Oh, fun. Okay. So Alpine is where everything is. Oh, so that's what that is. So Alpine is a framework, right? That allows you to write JavaScript, no, HTML and CSS, and then everything else goes like hits it. That reminds me a bit of Mavo. Mavo also allows you to write HTML and CSS and no JavaScript. And Leia Veru is one of the people behind Mavo, which is really nice. So if you want a full thing, all of this stuff is just HTML. And it has, just like HTMX and many other things, you can have directives just added into the HTML to do the thing. So, and then you can also save this and come back to it, I think. And you still have the other task in here. We can delete them and change them and do all the things. So it's actually really cool. If you want to take a look at it, here is a link to Mavo. I actually did a talk on this. Let's see, let's go to, here's my, what? Oh, it's an advertisement. I want, where's my, how do I go? Stop it. Bricks builds. I want to search for front end framework showdown. Okay, so we got Mavo, this one. So this is the front end framework showdown I did years and years and years ago when I was running the Node.js meetup. Let's see, this one I go through Mavo in less than 20 minutes to show off what you can do with it. So here you can see we're making Barkwire, which is, this was a dating app for cats and dogs, which is fun. And I think they've changed a lot. This was a long time ago when I first took a look at it. But pretty much like I own one, maybe two books from Leia Veru. She's really good with CSS. So highly recommended. Did we find a mate for Zilby? We did not. I didn't own Zilby at this time. Zilby hadn't even been born yet. Mavo's been around for a while. Yes, it has. It was brand new at this time, but this was 2 jobs ago. It was 2 jobs ago for me. All right. Do I work full time? I do not work full time, not anymore. As of September last year, I dropped down to part time, and so right now I'm at 10 hours per week for my day job, which I do. My day job is done all on Friday, so that's a thing. Tenmei, hello. How are you doing today? You're starting your web dev journey. Can I give you a roadmap as of 2024? That's a road. I mean, there's so much in there. The problem with a roadmap for something that generic is it's not really helpful. Like, what do you want to do? Like, is there a specific type of web dev that you want to do? Because like you can do back end, you can do front end, but even those are too generic. You can do front end for mom and pop stores that are doing like very basic websites, or you can build web applications, like full applications. Rust or JavaScript, if you're just starting your web dev journey, like if you're just starting a web dev journey and you want to get a job, JavaScript. There's very few people hiring web dev Rust right now. And even the ones that are hiring for backend with Rust are not taking people who are just starting their journeys. They're taking senior devs, sometimes senior devs from JavaScript, and then training them on Rust, because there's not that many Rust devs who also know web right now. So in that case, JavaScript all the way. And then going from there, probably learning, like, if you want to make a job of it, React, because like React is going to be a good one. There are companies that really do that. Yes. Here, let me snooze the ads one more time. There are companies that take JavaScript devs and then train them for Rust. The main reason for that is because it's really hard to find Rust devs that know web, right? And so oftentimes what you end up having is people who are, let's see, how do I want to put it? People who know programming, and then you retrain them to whatever tech stack you're going to use in your company. Because oftentimes, can I please show you? I don't know them anymore because a lot of them have like done layoffs and other stuff. So they're probably not hiring right now. But I did, let's see, one of the last, I want the Rust, do I have not meetup? Yeah, the Denver Rust meetup. Is this the first one? Okay, so one of the last ones we did, was it this one? Yes, okay, this one. So Immersive Technologies. So they sponsored the last meetup that I had done before I just basically we didn't have any more meetups to do. They were hiring programmer devs who were senior and then retraining them to be Rust devs because they couldn't find Rust devs at all. And they were even looking for like any kind of Rust devs. And then anybody who was willing to use Rust, they were having trouble finding them because Amazon and Google and all these other big players were hiring them to retrain. So it's rough for both us on the side of trying to find jobs and then also companies on the side of trying to hire for Rust. That's it, you're sold. Rust next 10 months. The problem is that there's a lot of people in that tank. So how are you going to differentiate yourself from everybody else, right? Because most of these companies What they don't tell you is that they're looking for more senior level devs, because when they want to train you on Rust, they don't want to also train you on programming. So they want to make sure that you're there. Were these meetups? I think probably not. I did not do a very good job at advertising these. I was so overwhelmed at the time, which is one of the reasons why I had to stop doing it, because I was just so busy with everything else. I might have done the last few that got into This Week in Rust. But at that time, Boulder Rust didn't even exist. This was a year ago. As a computer science student, finding jobs, even internships, is hard in India. It's hard everywhere. I would imagine it's hard everywhere. It's hard in the United States, and so I can't imagine it's not going to be any easier anywhere else. Because like there's a ton of programming jobs here, and it's still pretty tough. And most so a lot of jobs over here are startup jobs, and startups are not using Rust. Like it's a rounding error to 0, the number of startups that are using Rust, unless you're in the crypto space. They're using Rust all the time. It's unusually competitive due to the layoffs. It is. It absolutely is. Especially in the tech sector. But if you're not going for jobs in the tech sector, and if you're willing to look outside of normal software development spaces, there's a huge need for software developers in non-tech areas. But it's harder to get those jobs also because they generally don't know how to find developers because they're not tech people. So your networking game needs to be on point to find those ones. Yeah, it was mostly in tech. So it's this weird thing where tech is going down and then non-tech is going up. And it's this weird, like, not everybody tanking, but like the opposite. Okay, I've run out of snoozes. So ad break is starting in 30 seconds or so. So we'll be getting back into this in like 3 minutes when that ad is done. But yeah, the ad happens on Twitch. Since on topic of networking, I recommend hiring a recruiter and sending them. Yeah, so you can find recruiters in the United States, especially. Recruiters will help you find jobs. And the good ones have good networking already for you and don't mind if you find jobs outside of them. And so be aware and like collect good recruiters to work with. So like there's a few recruiters that I know. Most of them are boutiques. So like the recruiters are in specific areas. So like the recruiters that I know that I can recommend won't work outside of like Colorado, really. Like they won't even help, like they especially won't help in other countries because they're all like specialized in like this area because that's where they network. That's where they have the best networks. All of the national recruiters that I've ever worked with have never even come close to helping me find a job. And the one time I got like pretty far into a interview with them, I discovered that they were lying. The recruiters had lied to me to try to get me to get a job, which is not great. I was not happy with that. I know, it's a super sad story, and it's one of those things where the international recruiters or the national recruiters, they are ubiquitous on LinkedIn. Like 99% of the messages you're going to get from recruiters are them. And so it's going to be our jobs to really like, can you tell which ones are the good ones? To me, it's if their first introduction is a blind message with here's a job for you, do you want to apply? That's probably not a good recruiter. The best recruiters that I've ever worked with are the ones who basically try to get to know you, and they'll ask like for a call, but they won't like have like, they might say, I have some jobs that might be interested in, but can we talk first? I want to make sure that like you would be the right person for it. I just want to like get to know you and network with you. Those type of people, those recruiters, those might be really good to get to know. And if you're in the area with it, you can sometimes get free lunch out of them. Have them take you out to like a lunch somewhere, and that's even better, because then you get to know them, they get to know you, they trust you more, and you go from there. Even top programmers are not steady, and there is me who is just starting out. The big thing to remember is that like the jobs have always been really hard, and especially the first job has never been easy. Like, it's harder now, but it's not like it was easy to get a job back before the pandemic. So it's still strategy, still like numbers, still like there's tons of things to do, and there's a lot of different strategies to work with for it. Good recruiters try to get into contact, then have the specifics. Yeah, I agree. I had a different experience with recruiters. He was telling me how to network with people on LinkedIn and what messages to send, but also how to update your LinkedIn. So that's also good recruiters, right? Like, good recruiters will try to help you find a job, even if they don't get you the job. This is like a really big, important thing here. A good recruiter cares more that you got the job than it was that they get paid for you getting that job. And that's where you're going to see fit things like that, where they tell you, hey, here's how to update your LinkedIn to get more people interested in you. And you can send your resume to them, and they can give you feedback on it. And that's all they care about. And of course they would like to be paid. And then usually it's an investment, right? They're going to invest in you, because a year, 2 years down the line, you're like, it's time for me to start looking for a new job. You're going to think of them, and they're assuming that they're still going to be in business, because hopefully they're good. And then you're going to reach out to them and say, hey, I'm ready to start looking for a new job, a new thing. Can you help me out? And then maybe that time they'll be able to get you a job. All right, advertisements are all done. Let's continue on. So we're really close to being done with this feature here. You plan on doing that with your recruiter? Excellent. Yeah, collecting at least one recruiter is a good idea. Okay, so we have, so our tests are now working. So we now know that we have the ref discovery process. So I want to now grab those out here. So all we need to do is we need to pass in and skip the first 34. So that is up here. We're gonna, so clone, we discover references. We want to discover the references. Okay, so let's get the two. Okay, so we get the header. And, okay, so down here, so so we have an invalid header. Got to discover the references. Okay, great. Now at this point in time, let's grab the references, and that's going to be, is it get? What did it? Oh, process. Reference discovery. Okay, that, and I want to pass in the response. We're going to slice, and we're going to get 34 at the end. That gives us the references here, and let's debug these references. and see what we got. Do I have a bunch of debugs still showing on here? I don't. Okay. So that should be good. Let's go ahead and go back to our cargo run. Okay, so for our cargo run for this one, we see here's our mode, our commit hash, and our branch name. That's excellent. And if I were to do this with that other repo, there we go. We see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, all 7 branches. So attempting to make an editor, chapter 2 command, checking something out, generic array, generic array. Oh, this is in here twice. Ooh, that's exactly the same name. That's not good. Oh, no. Okay, so we don't have a generic array because it was a deleted branch of some kind. Interesting. Okay. I wonder if the only thing I care about then is the main branch and getting that out. Is being a mentor for GSOC a good thing? What's GSOC? Something of code, but I don't know the GS. What is the motivation for building your own Git client? It is, let's see, there's a couple motivations. Google Summer of Code. I don't see why not, right? Like a mentor for a lot of things will cement your understanding and then help other people. And I've always been a advocate for helping people sort of like learn these things as much as possible. So yeah, I think it would be a good thing if that's the type of thing you want to do. It's probably going to be a lot of work. Okay, so motivation for building my own Git client. I've always wanted to build my own Git client, especially after one of my mentors told me that he just read a book and then did that and like implemented it himself. And I was like, oh wow, this is like he understood how Git worked a lot better. And it was like, okay, that's really interesting. And then shortly after that, CodeCrafters reached out to me and said, hey, would you like to partner with us? We'll give you a link that if anybody signs up through the link, that I'll make some money off of that. And then they'll also, as the partnership side, so their side of the deal would be they gave me free VIP lifetime access to it. So I looked up and I saw that John Hu did a CodeCrafters challenge. They gave him the same deal. And he did the one where he did the build your own BitTorrent challenge. And that was super interesting. And I sort of watched that a little bit and I was like, okay, I'm going to try that myself. And so I saw that they had a Git. I'm like, okay, we're doing that one. I've always wanted to do this. So now I can get paid to do it too. So they're not paying me directly for it. So it's not like a sponsor stream. It's more of the like closer to affiliate where I have a link that you all can use if you like this and you want to go through it yourself. And so it's been a while. Let me give another CodeCrafters link out there. And then I have it on YouTube. I have the link down in the description below the video. But yeah, so that's the motivation for this. It's like a combination of I can show you off all this interesting stuff, and if you like it, hopefully you like it enough that it makes sense and you want to get it, and you can afford it, because it is not cheap. They do have a new system where you can they can help you get your company to pay for it if you're working. If you're not working and you don't have the money for it, please don't spend money you can't afford. But yeah, that's the motivation for it. Okay, so this gives me the branch and the commit for this. So I wonder if I mean, this is probably fine, but I really want to now remove the repeats, don't I? Because I don't care about, like, technically I don't care about anything that's not master, do I? Like, I just want master or main, like whatever the main thing is. So I wonder if this would be fine. I don't know. I think we're gonna have to figure this out. So my brain is starting to leave me right now, which is why I'm repeating myself and like starting to slow down a bit. Let's see. What I want to do next is going to be, okay, we're gonna have to take this and figure out how to do the next parts down here, where we're going to request a want and say, hey, I want now the next thing, which is going to be an open connection. And that's actually going to be part of what these things are, is I want to be able to say, okay, give me this commit. Give me this commit. I want this. I want this. I want this. I want this. I have this. So we probably want to do something like, I want this. So that's going to be the next thing we're going to do. And I'm probably going to end here because I'm too tired to start doing that. But we've prepared by getting all this stuff out. So we now have the ability to see these, the commits for, all the commits. All the commits that are advertised by the Git client, by the Git server that GitHub is running. Okay, I think that makes sense. Okay, so tomorrow, I don't have the stream sort of like set up for it. I'm gonna do that tonight. Tomorrow we're gonna continue our Docker course. And then that's going to go from 9:30 until like 4 o'clock or so. So those are usually like the longest streams of the week, is the creating a new course. We're building one for Docker. So if you're interested in that, show up to, stop by tomorrow. We'd love to have you. And then Wednesday is our fun time. We're playing TIS 100, which is a game where we write assembly to play it. It's a Zachtronics game, which is a lot of fun, and it's also hard and breaks my brain. So, yesterday last week I went a little bit too much, and it was like in a fog the rest of the day. So I don't want that today, and I don't want that this week. So let's see. I think that's everything. So with that, let's go ahead and push this up. So let's see. We are get reference information about the given repo from GitHub. And I'll go ahead and push this up. CodeCrafters will run this against their tests, and it will fail because we are not doing what we're supposed to be doing. But we're close. We're okay. Close is maybe a relative term. I need to use these to then get the actual like information, like the actual binary data that is all the files and folders that make up the repo. These are really just the commit hashes. So I need to now tell the whatever it is, whoever is doing this, what I want from it. Okay. So this should fail soon, and then we'll go ahead and end. And if any of you have any questions, thoughts, feelings, now's the time before we turn it off. Yeah, there we go. Repository doesn't exist, has failed. Okay, so it tried to go into it. I probably need to do something like create like a dot in it or something in there. You have very interesting points, Redeem. Looking forward to turning off the LSP in the future. Yeah, that was one of the ones that was requested that I add in, and we haven't done that. Nobody's done that one yet. But yeah, next time we'll try it out. Coffee, thanks for the stream. Get yourself a coffee. Well, thank you. I'll get some kind of coffee. I do have a coffee type drink that I can do. All right. Thank you, everybody. I hope that you all have a great rest of your day. And I will see you all next time. Bye.